For this installation demo, we are going to be installing the tap and flush dual flush converter on a standard flapper. So when you get the tap and flush kit, it comes with many parts. Parts that we'll be using for this demonstration is the weight controller, the weight cap, and the flush timer. The tap and flush system also comes with a replacement flapper in case the existing flapper is leaking. And it comes with many other parts, but that's because the tap and flush is a universal kit system designed to fit with every toilet. So to start the installation, we're going to take the weight controller and we're going to hang it from the front tank wall. The tap and flush is designed so that the weight controller can hang onto the front tank wall like so. What you want to do now is you want to check to make sure that the flush lever is clear of hitting the weight controller. So press down on the flush handle and make sure it does not hit. So this is good, this is working fine. But in some instances, the flush lever can be very long and span the entire front wall of the tank, forcing you to either slide the weight controller all the way to one side, or in some cases, if the flush lever is so long, you're not able to do that, you'll be forced to do one of two things. If your flush lever is made of metal, with two hands you can put a bend in your flush lever to make room for it, or you may have to replace your flush lever with a shorter flush lever. So now that we have the weight controller hung from the front tank wall, next we'll be clipping the weight to the flapper chain. To do that, you press down on the thumb tab, you slide the chain through the opening and clamp it, and you can release the thumb tab. Next, we're going to take the weight cap and we're going to slide the flapper chain through the weight cap, and then we're going to align these grooves with the opening in the weight cap and snap it in place. Once it's completely snapped in place on all sides, then you push down on the thumb tab and slide it all the way down to the bottom of the flapper. And now the weight is completely installed and the weight controller is completely installed. Now if your flapper has a foam float attached to the flapper chain, you need to take your weight and attach your weight beneath the foam float. If the foam float is so low and close to the flapper that you cannot attach the weight beneath it, then you can attach the weight above the foam float. Some flappers have a cup attached to the top of the flapper. Now the weight cannot be properly attached to a flapper like this. So in order to properly attach the weight to this flapper, you must remove this cup. To remove the cup, you must push on the sides and remove the cup like so. And now the weight can easily be installed on a flapper like this. So with this system, we have it properly installed. We have the weight controller hung. We have the weight properly connected. So now we're going to test to make sure there's nothing interfering with the opening and closing, and that the system's working properly. So you want to make sure both of your dials are turned to off on the small and large flush. And with both dials in the off position, then you're going to press on the flush handle. You're going to press on the flush handle, hold it down for exactly 1 second, and then release. Now if it closes, then you know that the weight is working properly. If it doesn't close, check to see if the weight is rubbing on anything, causing it to any interference, so it's not able to close correctly. If there's no interference at all, perhaps you're going to need another weight. To install an additional weight, which is included with the tap and flush kit, you need to remove the weight from the chain. Once you remove the weight from the chain, you're going to need to remove one of these green plastic discs and then install another metal weight. You'll then reinstall the weight and then test to make sure everything's working properly. Next, we're going to set the small flush and large flush time, which is located under the top cover. With the tap and flush, you want to use the least amount of water for both your small and your large flush. You want to find the lowest possible number, which can complete a small flush, and the lowest possible number, which can complete a large flush. Once you've found that number for your particular toilet, you can then take the tap and flush control wire run it towards the back of the tank. Put the lid back on your tank. And place the tap and flush timer on top of your tank. Now for a small flush, you tap, then flush. And for a large flush, just flush. If you have additional questions, please send all questions to help@tapandflush.com.